Hello everyone. Today will serve as an introduction to the concept of compound interest. We'll begin with a short recap of what percentages are. So percentages are one form of fractions. So 20%, let's take that as an example. 20% basically means 20 by 100, which equates to 0.2. You'll have to remember these forms because we'll use them later in the compound interest formula. Here's a short percentage trick. To see how it goes, let's use an example. What's 17% of 20? It might take a second for you to do because you need to write that down and then calculate it, or not. But then the answer is 3.4. But then what's 20% of 17? 20% of 17, 2, also 3.4. You see, 17% of 20 is the same as 20% of 17. But one of these is more easier than the other. So this is a percentage trick that you can use anywhere. Now you might be familiar with simple interest already. The formula is pretty simple. You take the principal of the initial amount, you multiply it by the rate of interest, and then you multiply that by time and then divide it all by 100 at the end. And if you need the final amount with interest, you just add it to the principal amount. It's as easy as that. Compound interest is when you take the final amount after the first year and then use that as the principal amount for the second year. And then you take that final amount and then use that as the principal for the third year, and then so on and so on. If you were to do this by hand, step by step, it would be extremely time consuming, not to mention extremely painful to do so. So there's a simple formula, which is that. Now you'll notice that there's a 100 below the rate of interest. And this is because we take the rate of interest directly as a percentage. Well, meanwhile, you need it as a decimal. So there's the 100 sign. If you'll recall from the percentages and fractions and decimal comparison, basically turns it into a decimal. And then you take that value and then add it to that. So that's interest. The fun thing about math is that one topic ties in a completely unrelated part. And then it's all interconnected together. That's what makes math fun, and that's what makes it interesting. Hopefully today was helpful for at least some of you. I'm really glad you watched the whole thing.